very helpful back.
Welcome to the Tuesday, June 7, 2022 City Council meeting. Would you please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3 tonight is council to appoint Council Ward 1 seat for the remainder of the term through December 31st, 2023.
Who is it?
That's Jeff Bergman. Sorry. He's the only application that we received. I did send that along in your packets. And I didn't receive another one. They had up until 4 o'clock this afternoon.
I've spoke with Mr. Bergman a couple of times, even into last year where I was first introduced to him and anything. Really the long and short of it, I feel he would be more than adequate to fill the role. Seems to be very balanced and forward looking for the community and has a good history into his activism and things that he wants to be involved with. So my recommendation, or I guess my vote, would be to be in favor of the appointment.
Is that a motion, Justin?
Do we need a motion?
Yeah.
Yes, I will make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Bergman, please join us.
Thank you, Council.
Welcome.
They just lost him on planning and zoning, so they're gonna be, he was doing the secretary work for that.
Sorry, Ben.
It happens.
Now may I have a roll call?
Cedar,
Yes.
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Bergman,
Here.
Nichols.
Yes.
Here, sorry. We were on a roll.
I'll take a motion to approve the June 7th, 2022 agenda.
So move. Second.
Is that all in favor? Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry, I just went blank there. Number 6, approval of the May 17th, 2022 regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
And that's a roll call, please.
Cedar,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Hello?
There it is.
That's a test. Number 7, approval of the consent agenda. I just want to make a minor change in Scribner's error. It would be in front of Lofty's, not in from of Lofty's. And I'll take a motion on that.
Just in their parking lot.
It's gonna be in front of their parking lot as well as we're gonna do a street closure for them. Just in front of their parking lot,
It's gonna be in the street in front of their parking lot.
just in front of their parking lot, that's correct.
Chief Dean, any issues? Don't think so. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 8, approval of the resolution calendar. Does anybody have any questions regarding that?
I had a couple questions on the bills, Mayor. I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda with discussion on what I had.
Okay,
You wanna go ahead and discuss now, Steve?
Yeah, that's good.
Go
let's
ahead.
get a second first, and then we'll do
Oh, yeah.
a roll call afterwards.
I will
Okay.
second.
Okay,
Okay, just FYI things that I kind of wanted to know that I didn't know about, is how far are we along on, first question would be on Eagles Landing on, the engineers, the roadway, is that what the 2,200 was for the process there of the road design?
when it starts, we sign an agreement with them, and that's just because they're still involved somewhat on that process. We don't have much more to go in that signed agreement. And I will get that exact figure for you if you'd like.
Yeah, if you would please. And then my other question would be, the boat ramp, we're re-engineering that, I thought we were kind of on hold. Or did you send it out to get re-looked at for the cost basis? It's on the
The
second.
SRF?
No, this would be on the second page of bills. It says, engineering for boat ramp, $1,406.
Okay, that's the original engineer that was on the project. That was all we had left to pay them. The one that, yeah, wasn't really an engineer, but
And then I had one final question that I'd never seen before, is, seasonal flowers for $1,215. Are we buying the flowers on Lafayette? I thought the chamber was buying that and doing it.
no, they stopped doing it probably 2 years ago. This is our 3rd year for doing it.
The city's buying it.
The city's doing it now, so, because we've taken the chamber out of there completely.
Okay.
Reimbursement for them. All good questions.
Why wasn't that brought to the council prior to purchasing them?
We started doing it 3 years ago, and that's something that we decided, at that time, we were gonna take over doing it to continue on.
No, but you still should have council approval prior to purchasing something like that.
I thought we did. I thought
I don't-
that there was a discussion, wasn't there?
I mean, when, 3 years ago, at that point, we decided to take it to, I mean,
I
we
just,
were gonna supply them going forward.
the only reason I'm not to follow up to Ron, but I went back and looked at the meeting of the night they were here, and I have, nothing to say about the flag, except I was under the impression that they were going to purchase them, but they wanted the city to put them up and take them down because of the age of people on the committee. But we ended up buying them and putting them up and taking them down. The tape doesn't say we were buying it, it just says to assist them in putting things up and down. So I've always questioned that since that meeting. You can go back, take a look, see what you think. Let me know.
That, it wasn't how it was intended though. Because I think I even discussed that, I asked the state auditor if we could do that because we're getting into that donating to a
Right.
nonprofit organization. And she said, if you're interested in purchasing them, you have to take possession of them.
Okay.
So,
How long are you gonna leave them up? They're gonna be all sorted out.
well,
Are you talking about the flowers or the flags?
Flags.
I mean,
We're talking
initially
both.
you're talking about both.
Oh.
Yeah. So initially, we talked about, to the ambulance about it, Flag Day is next Tuesday. So there was only a 2-week period between those, Memorial Day and Flag Day. And then 4th of July is the 4th. So do we take them down and put them up 3 times in 2-week intervals?
You
Or
do,
just we leave them up through the 4th?
you do if you wanna keep them, if you wanna repurchase them every 2 years, then yeah, you leave them up.
I mean, even just a month,
Well,
it's
if
a little
you
over a
have equipment
month.
out there, I mean, that's full wear and tear.
Depending on the flag.
I
I have a flag and I bet I replace it,
Couple times a year at least.
at least, probably at once
I
a
do, I
year.
replace mine a couple times a year.
And they're the
Really?
higher dollar, yep, not, they have more, because you got, was it cotton and nylon, I think are the two. The
Cause some of
polys.
these been caught in the rigging up there, and I don't know if they tore or somebody turned them loose or what, but they aren't gonna last long in that wind like that, and it's out there flopping.
We had to replace all the carabiner hooks. Those were garbage. They lasted about 2 days. That hold the flag to the pole. So it's like $54 at Ted's that I had to buy all new of those, but
The brackets,
no, the carabiner hooks that hook the flag to the
okay.
non-wrapping. So we've replaced all of those now. But other than that, the flags seem to be in, pretty good shape, but, whatever you guys want us to do, we will do.
No, they're still in good shape, I'm not saying that, but the longer they're left up, the shorter life that they're gonna be.
Yep,
Or you might get 5 or 6 years out of it if you put them up, and this way you might get 1, 2.
right, absolutely.
What's your time estimate, Chris? Would you say it takes somebody to put them up or take them down?
An hour. I can get them all up and all down in an hour.
So that'd be something.
We said some adjustments with the brackets. The brackets were just kind of all over, so the initial bracket placement took us a little bit longer, but other than
Who's watering the flowers?
They have volunteers.
What do you mean they?
I mean, well, I should say the whole group of volunteers is still doing it. Dottie and the gang, Dottie and Jim, I think from Diamonds, and
Ron Ketwig.
Ron Ketwig, and
I thought Chamber was doing it all the time for, and they were doing it for the Chamber, but
I really don't think the chamber exists anymore.
I think there's only 3 or 4 people that are even involved in it.
I don't even think.
It's a matter of time before
Mhm.
we probably have to do it.
When I say the chamber physically, functionally still exists, I don't think they're doing much anymore because of their membership, but I think
the
functionally
membership,
it's
yeah,
still
the
there.
membership went down the
Yep,
toilet. I
yep,
mean,
so I don't
it's
think they have
mainly
enough to-
because of the management of it.
So,
I mean, it was, they were doing things that I said was illegal, and, I didn't want anything to do with it.
I guess I can't comment on that, I know a lot of it was just, I mean, we see it across the board with volunteerism and those types of things, and then a lot of them just age. Just like the events, when they brought the flags up, was just an age thing, they just didn't have the young bodies to kind of replace those services.
You talking about me?
So,
Just responding to your question.
just to kind of get a consensus about this, and then we're gonna move on and do a roll call vote on the resolution calendar. If you would like us to, our Public Works, to take it down, I'd like to leave them up just that 2 weeks after Memorial Day to Flight Day, and then pick them up and put them back up for 4th of July weekend.
I would think that, if they take it, only takes an hour or something like that, I would take them down after each event, rather than leaving them up. Because sometimes a great big wind comes along and just, they're gone.
Plus the rain didn't do them any good.
Sure, okay. We'll do that moving forward, if that's okay with you, Chris Sheriffs?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do
Okay.
what you guys.
Awesome. Can we get a roll call vote on the resolution calendar?
Siebel,
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Number 9, resolution 6610, approving the preliminary plans and setting date of public hearing for the Michigan Lift Station Rehabilitation Project. And this is something that has been in the works since since late last summer?
Last fall, for sure.
Yeah, last fall for sure. So we're finally getting to the point we're gonna move forward, and that's gonna be American Rescue Funds.
I'd make the motion to approve resolution 6610, approving the preliminary plan, setting a date of hearing for the Michigan Lift Station revitalization project.
Second?
Roll call.
Siebel,
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Resolution 6611, approving the preliminary plans and setting date of public hearing for the Central Avenue overlay project.
I have a question there, Mary.
Yeah.
I looked at the packet, I know it's preliminary, but, I thought the price looked a lot higher than what we originally talked for Central.
Chris, did you notice that wasn't around the it was $438?
No,
400.
$437,000, yeah.
That would be nice,
Yeah.
$438,000. Wasn't that about the original quote?
It was lower than the original quote.
Oh, it was lower, because it was like 470, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, that's what I
outrageous the
thought.
first
Yeah.
kick, and then once we kind of reevaluated everything, and
Because Chris and his team are gonna do a lot of the removal.
we're gonna do as
Curb.
much as we can.
You're gonna take the curbs out?
Absolutely.
That saves quite a bit of money off the bill I looked at today. Appreciate that.
We just don't wanna do, like, if I'm gonna take your drive out, time-sensitive stuff we probably won't do, but like from, Evans to the driveway of, Bucks Meadows,
Yes,
we can take all that out, won't inconvenience anybody, and then we can jump their driveways, and we can take a whole another length out. So I don't wanna take any of the hot spots out, cause that's all time-sensitive.
So you're good to get that project going.
We'll do as much as we possibly can just to keep that lower. Because we'll be paying it on the overlay side with the oil and the asphalt and stuff like that, so.
excellent.
Well, with that knowledge, I'll make approval of resolution 6611 for the preliminary plans, setting date of public hearing for Central Avenue overlay project.
Second.
Yes.
Roll call, Siebel,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Number 11 is request to approve yard waste agreement with the city of Elkhorn Heights through June 30th, 2024. 2 years ago, just to give you a little bit of a history, we were going 2-year agreement instead of renewing it every single year. So the price hasn't went up or anything. We haven't really had much of an increase in cost in that department. So the contracts are both still for $2,400 a piece.
Big increase in gas.
Yeah, but I heard it's going down. Did you hear that?
Oh. Cents a gallon more today.
I wonder who you're talking to.
Oh, she was wrong.
Yeah.
He came in today and told me they were lowering gas by
I'm
a
going off
buck.
what my wife said, so don't blame me.
Okay.
She's like, it's $3.70 a gallon. I'm
Okay.
going, well, the gas bill.
It was not a good rumor.
Yeah,
Where's
we're
it
not
lower,
getting
cause
it.
I need to leave right now.
Right.
That's
I'll make it over there.
Well, then I left.
It's $4.79 now,
Yeah.
$4.79.
and them tractors take a lot of gas.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Both of them are individually,
They're individual.
How much are they?
2,400.
2,400 apiece per year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. For each city.
If not, you'll chip in the rest.
Yes, I certainly will. That's needed.
He's retired now, Ron.
I got a lot of time.
What are we waiting for? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Whoever.
I need a motion.
Oh, I thought he did.
Did you second?
said, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 12, request to approve yard waste agreement with the city of Raymond.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Request to consider leasing of land on River Road to Denny Wilson. Denny Wilson is here, and if you'd like to step up to the mic and state your name, even though I said that, and your address,
No problem.
and just talk to us a little bit about,
Well, my name is Denton Wilson, actually. I live at 1023 Central Avenue. I've lived in Evansdale most of my life. Grew up here, moved away, come back. The property what I'm talking about is right down here. The city owns this one, and this one. And there's 3 properties, and then there's this behind here. This ain't to scale. But anyway, I'm attempting to purchase this property here, and I'd like to lease the 3 properties in front. The back is like 4.2 acres, and basically it's the same on the front. People's got concerns about water. Well, you just gotta have horse tank. Get hold of Mid-America, they can put a meter socket in on the telephone pole that's existing, and I can wire up outlets to run heaters. As far as feeding cattle in the winter, yeah, that can be done, not a big deal. Hay, or not hay, but, you know. Alfalfa hay, and then supplement them with corn. I probably won't be able to get anything done this year, just for the simple fact is, I had walked through there mushroom hunting, and people use it as a dump for a long time. There's lots of crap back there. And
seriously.
I'm gonna have to find the property lines and go from there.
What is, Mayor, what is, lease, is it just to say Danny, okay? Is
No.
there monetary value, or what are we looking at on that?
No, this is it's just on here for council to consider. Because if we were gonna do a leasing, we would have to have the attorney draw up an agreement. You guys would have to come to some kind of resolution to what you wanna charge for him leasing that land. It is floodway property. We purchased 3 of the homes that were
FEMA.
there. Or 2 of the homes, can't remember for sure. Was it 2?
Well, there's
It
3
was
properties.
okay. So, and then, you know, we do, and we can, by DNR regulations, rent it, you know, lease it out for this type of use. But that'd be up to council if, you know, you want someone raising cattle on city property,
On a dead end road.
on a dead end road.
I've raised animals before I moved to Evansdale. When my mom got sick, she died. My dad got sick. I moved back to town, sold my place out in the country. I've raised anything from potbelly pigs, to regular pigs, to goats, cows, horses. And yeah, I mean, to do it correctly, you'd wanna put up like 5-strand barbed wire fence, and then I'd run, just me personally, 3 strands of electric on the inside, just to eliminate them from doing anything stupid. As far as shelter, you can't build down there, but, nothing says you can't take a trailer down there and put cribbing underneath it, and they can use that as a shelter. Plus, it could double as a horse trailer or a cow trailer. Floodway comes, you gotta get them out of there. The only thing I gotta do is take them to Dewar. My buddy's got a cattle lot that I can use.
I think the city's got an ordinance against electric fences.
Well, this is in UR, unrefined, so technically, it wouldn't be, you can do pretty much whatever you want.
Doesn't fall in the zoning.
Right, and 1 cow per acre, so.
So you anticipate about 8 cows?
My homeowner's insurance will only cover me up to 4.
Oh.
So it's 1 cow per acre, and I think there's just a little bit over 2 acres there.
2.4, yeah.
Yeah, 2.4,
And
so,
the people who own this chunk of ground here, they live in LaPorte, they're old in Moses. When I left here today, I went there and knocked on their doors, no answer. So I think I found their son or their grandson on Facebook, and I'm sending a friend request and a message, and hopefully he responds. Otherwise, I'll just keep knocking on doors till I get the answer. The ground behind there is valued at $4,600. It also has to be cleaned up. Yeah, it's kind of a catch-all. People, like, people moved out, they just back their crap back in there and dumped it out.
mhm.
Is that on the river side of the road or the?
Riverside,
Yeah.
yeah. If you're going down River Road past the mouth of the creek on your left-hand side, you keep going. At the end of that road, there's a cul-de-sac. There's a chain across this way. Ronies live here.
Diane,
Diane lives here.
oh,
And I actually talked to both of them Sunday, and they didn't have a problem. But now, Ronnie's just like, well, we'll have to see. And I'm, well, I'm still taking it to the council. But I wanted to talk to them first. He was all for it, I think, until he talked to his wife. That's my guess. Because he
and
told
I've
me
asked
to put
them,
up,
yeah, and I've asked them to reach out to council as well, just to,
and I asked, he's actually the one that said, get a trailer, get an enclosed trailer, put it down there. Put them in that, or a horse trailer, and close it all off. Because that way they got shelter. I'm like, yeah, I never thought of that, because you can't legally build anything permanent down there. You could probably set 4x4s on the ground and build off of that, as long as it's portable and movable. So. And there's also other properties on this side of the road. So if this pans out, I might be talking to you guys about a few more.
For all cattle raising?
Yeah. And according to my wife, a horse.
Just from the city, I don't know if it's necessarily legal side or anything, not that this property is probably in super high demand or anything, but is there anything that we need or would have to open up for
Yeah, I
bids
believe
or
so.
for anything, just since we're going to it?
I believe so, I think we would have to, that'd be something I would talk to the attorney about,
Okay.
as
Just
well
make
as,
sure we do it.
coming up with some kind of agreement. I think it'd have to open up to the public, just like we did when we leased the land in Deerwood for the waterfowl.
Yep.
There would probably have to be some cost to it, because the city's gonna incur some costs.
Yeah,
So you can
Well,
clean up.
typically we do charge for leases of city land,
So it's gonna cost me, it won't cost the city. You'll
anywhere
actually be
from,
getting money for
Just
ground.
bring us in one head every couple months.
some hamburger.
Get you a potbelly pig. Yeah.
So what Danny's proposing is, a revenue stream for the city too, in essence. So, but tonight, is it just, kind of approving the idea of it?
Yeah, we would have to, if council will consider it, we'll move forward with an agreement and
I'll make that motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A request from Public Works,
Yep, thank you, Danny.
Works Director to overlay Blackdale and he has a $14,150 with Asperl. Chris, do you want to speak to that at all, or?
Nope, it's pretty straightforward.
I had a question, I went up there and looked at it, actually took pictures if somebody wants to look at it. I don't really have a problem with the project, but the bids are way off on square footage per vendor. I'd like to see that straightened up, cleaned up, so we're bidding that makes the reasoning why one of them is way high, because one bid's at 8,500 square feet, one bid's at 7,200 square feet. And there's some verbiage on one of them and not another, so I think that needs to be cleaned up before we would actually get a final bid to approve on that project. That's how I feel anyway, as one council person.
And then I also have a question too. I was also up there, Steve. The road itself looks like it's split in half, like the road bed had been overlaid one half one time and one half the other time. But correct me if I'm wrong with that, and it looks like it's been washed out in the middle. So if we do this project, is there any way to not have that happen again?
They'll repair the center and then they'll overlay the whole thing.
Okay.
But we won't be able to do it this year.
We were in hopes, just so you know, to get it done this year. He's got Aspro ready to do it this year because we had extra funds in road use this year. And we got that huge Central Avenue project in next fiscal year. So we were hoping to use the funds from this fiscal year, to be honest with you.
Well, the only thing I'm asking is to have the bids be likable on quotes. It's why the one shows way higher, because the square footage when you calculate it out, that's why. I'm just asking for the complete bid. I have no problem with what you've done, Chris, but I'd just like to see the same square footage. Why is one company bidding 1,300 square feet more, which makes their price be way higher? So I would just like that cleaned up and then bring it back. And then I'd have no problem probably approving it.
Is that something that we could try to get tomorrow
That when,
and send it out to you guys? Can we approve it pending the cleanup of the quote to be more equally matched?
Well, my question for Chris would be, when I look at, I guess I can say Klusner versus Aspro, they say things on there that they're gonna do, but I don't really see all that verbiage on the Aspro quote. So I was just kind of wondering, hopefully they're bidding apples for apples of what they're gonna do, and I just feel comfortable knowing that we had likable bids, likable square footage, likable dollars, and then decide who we'd want to go with on that project.
I told them A to B, and then I told them they needed to mill in front of all the driveways and stuff, so there's a clean transition there, and they're not putting that half an inch or 1 inch of overlay in their driveways that's gonna knock out in a year, and then they're gonna be all mad at me, but, and they had to repair the center, and then this is what they got from both of them, from both places, I guess.
Well, then it says the city will supply a 2-inch riser for a manhole. I didn't see a manhole unless I missed it going up and down.
Yeah, when you get down to the bottom, by that yield sign, it's off to the left-hand side.
Okay.
And that's common. I'll always bring everything up to suit us at my cost, and then we'll always supply the risers and stuff like that, just to keep costs down.
Is that too much to ask to have likable square footages and print?
As long as it's done tomorrow, otherwise it won't happen. Then this.
Well, as long as you get the stuff out to us, Mayor, or whatever.
Well, that's what I'm
we see
saying,
the
if I could
pri-
have-
The prices are probably gonna change some by an adjustment, and then I don't have any problem with okaying it, and
Asheville will probably still get it, but, now they've seen both numbers, I guess.
Right.
It'll probably just kibosh the whole job.
well, what's the rest of the council think versus what I've asked for?
They measured the bridge, measured it themselves.
Yeah. They both, I told them A to B and they measured it.
So then they didn't measure
I
it.
mean, it's like one, if I have a car sitting here, Cadillac and a Volkswagen, we're gonna price these things about the same, because, I mean, I've always been a proponent of try to have correct 2 bids on everything. So if I'm looking at it, it's city money, to know that it's right, if this guy says this and the other guy says this, it's likable apples, I have no problem with it, but when it's not likable, I have a problem putting my name on it to approve it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind taking a motion to approve it contingent upon getting it's really going to Klusner, right? Did he have more?
You have a lot more square footage.
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah, it's not over 1,000 square foot. I'd like to just put it on hold, get the information, you shoot it out to us tomorrow, and it looks appropriate, and the prices are adjusted, and we can give you the word to
Okay.
go ahead on it, rather than going through all that tonight and reading it tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll just take a motion to table then.
I'll make a motion to table till tomorrow after we get it corrected.
Okay. All in
Thanks,
favor?
Chris.
Oh, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 15, request from Public Works Director to repair stormwater outlet at the corner of West Gilbert Drive and Shone Street in the amount of $17.50 with B&B Builders Concrete.
I don't, have a problem with that. Did you look to see down Gilbert? I see a few that are kind of rocky and broke up. I would like to have seen kind of all of them. If we're gonna fix them and they're all rough, they are all rough. Get a quote on, we might get it, well, this is a pretty good deal for that one, I understand it. But get them all at one bang going down the road, rather than coming back next month, next year.
Yeah,
Do it.
he's been working on that too. This one is just kind of a,
Yeah,
You know,
PD
it's an
reached out to
issue
me on
because-
Saturday and that manhole was flipped up straight.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it was a nightmare, and I just couldn't get anybody to bid it. Nobody.
yeah, because it's been going on 2
I
weeks.
had one bid of almost $10,000 to do the exact same thing.
Wow.
Nobody has.
But yes, we wanna do that, we wanna, cause we have, starting again July 1st, we have stormwater money again, cause that would go into the stormwater budget, about 25,000, so we wanna start doing those repairs and hopefully get a bid to do several of them.
So ideally, this would have been an emergency fix and we'd have tried to we were trying to get it to you like right away. Couldn't get a bid until, when you amended it.
Yeah.
That was.
Monday, we didn't get a second until Monday.
This one was bad. I observed it when it was sideways to the point to where I was actually stopping back down at the PD and was grabbing an orange cone. And on the way back down, the city or somebody had found it and put a cone out, because basically it's a risk and a liability to the city, because as we kind of talked pre-meeting, I had an incident happen with the city of Waterloo and took a bolt to the tire from one of their bridges. And I went in and talked to the city and they're like, yep, this is what our insurance is for, and they paid a new tire for me. So I absolutely would hate to put the city in the position that we knew about it and we failed to act on it, because it was that bad. It wasn't just a little rocket or anything, it was straight up and out, and if you hit it, it was at least gonna rip your tire, if not the rim and potentially other damage, so it was bad.
I'm making a motion to approve the repair on it. Just that verbiage that I asked about with the other.
Have a second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 16, request from Cedar Falls Community Credit Union to prepare an additional curb cut on Lafayette Road to accommodate drive-through. The credit union is gonna be where the old, the last establishment in there was Solomon. So they're gonna actually do it's gonna be a drive-through, so it's gonna be just kind of like a loop in and out of there on Lafayette. Just probably about 2 feet, is it about 2 feet, Chris? West of Lofty's. And they're gonna pay for the moving of that light pole.
9 foot, I'm gonna move it 9 feet.
Okay,
And the box is already there from our previous project.
but I was saying their roadway is gonna be just about 2 feet from the
Right.
Lofty's parking lot,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Their curb cut.
Any issues from the side? I mean, I like the flow, I like the throughput, especially to try to keep traffic and things moving. So I just, is there anything, Chris, on your end?
Nope,
that we-
they just gotta do another curb cut, like Deanne mentioned, so.
Yeah, it looks like it's laid out well, so it's not causing a traffic pattern issue or anything in and out of that business area, and it doesn't look like it'll interfere with Lofty's, so.
Nope.
I'll take a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 684, amending the provisions to Chapter 75, Section 10, Times of Operation, the first reading. Originally, when we had, I think it was just the golf cart ordinance, it was like until 11 o'clock. And then when we did the combined ordinance, UTV, golf cart, and ATV, it got changed to 10. And I've had a couple requests from residents, for council to consider, it doesn't necessarily have to be midnight, but 11 or 12 at night. Because some of the ones that are using UTV are, you know, they're out and about, they're going to restaurants, they're going, you know, say like to the OP or, what have you. So, in the summer months, you know, it's when it's not getting dark until 9:30 or what have you.
I guess one question and then one referral back to you, Chief Dean. I believe already in the ordinance it states headlights, turn signals type of thing, and especially after dark, you have to have something. And arm signals aren't gonna work, sorry.
Right.
For if we're going after dark especially.
Yes.
In order to get your tag, you have to show turn signals, brake lights, running lights, just like a car,
Yeah, the other ones.
except for all.
Because I know some, like golf carts, don't have that, and they would just be the arm signals. A lot of UTV, ATVs I know have been updated to it.
Well, if they've got the tag, they have to have turn signals. I just helped, Thomas Ricker today, and he has turn signals and everything on his, he just wants to go fast.
Are you finding many violations, Chief?
No, we have very few issues with it,
Yep, and asked the same thing. The counselor asked as well, any issues from
not at all.
safety or enforcement side?
No. Actually, I would say it's, since the conception of making this legal, it's been very well received. I think people have been pretty responsible. We haven't had any issues.
I can't speak from my knowledge of the emergency services side that I can't recall to memory that I've had any emergency services things recalled, you know, so if we were worried about injury or anything on them, I can't recall any, to be honest, involved in any type of motor vehicle accidents or wrecks or rolls or calls, anything as well.
I'll take a motion to approve the first reading.
I'll make that motion. Motion to amend the provision to chapter 75, section 10, time to operation, first reading.
And just for clarification, I guess, yes, I'll need the clarification, what was the time that we were setting,
I had actually put in the ordinance, 12.
till midnight?
So it would be, what's the time? Do you have it on you?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll just scroll back up, otherwise I'm
No, you could just hit the link, right?
It sometimes works on this.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on struggle bus, but I'm on it.
That's not just yours, mine.
I guess the only question I have about the
11:59.
process is,
Oh, 11:59, yeah.
11:59 PM.
they're gonna be
Just
out
so
there at
it
midnight.
would stay in people's minds so they would stay out.
And that
last
kind of
night.
safety issue in some ways, I mean, if they're moving around the street at midnight, and they twenty up and down, and they go by my house all the time.
Oh, you have to go to the speed limit.
Yeah, but is 10 o'clock too early for them, is that what I read into this?
Well, a lot of them are still out and about and
What's our noise ordinance?
there's,
They're loud.
Yeah, they're not, that's why I'm asking this question.
The summer ordinance, noise ordinance, 8 to 11?
I'd have to make a.
Noise ordinance is kind of a misunderstood
Okay.
law, I guess you'd say. So the noise ordinance is always in effect. It's not from one time to another time, it's any time. If your neighbor has a band in his garage and it's bothering you, no matter what time of day it is, you need to call the police. Now, we also have to be reasonable about this as well. So if your neighbor's mowing his lawn, we have to let people mow their lawns. Maybe not at 4 a.m, but you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
So that's kind of how the noise ordinance works. It's not from this time to this time. It's always in effect. It basically just comes down to, are you being bothered by somebody else's noise?
Danny, what do you think of the midnight versus 10
Or 11?
or 11?
Midnight's fine. I mean, most of them ain't noisy. I mean, yeah, the Rangers, they get a little, the ones that are set up for, just 2 people and all in butt without the utility box. Yeah, some of them got aftermarket exhaust. They get a little noisy, but like Thomas is, he still runs stock exhaust and.
But we have a lot of cars like that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And the noise is, I'm not trying to diminish it at all, but it's temporary, so it's moving from one place to another.
Right.
And so,
It's unlike my neighbor that calls me up, can you hear my band? Yeah, I don't like the music, play something different.
I mean, if someone's sitting on the street and just revving their engine, I can understand that. But if we're getting home, you know, from visiting your neighbors or your coworkers or whatever, you know, I guess that's why I went ahead with the motion.
So most of it,
And the noise ordinance, thank you, Chief, for the explanation.
the
That's what I
tires are
was
louder
after
than
this.
the exhaust
It's
most of the time.
I don't like that.
Well, and that's no different than a Harley. You know, you straight pipe a Harley, it's 100 times louder than, and they love to rev them and show them off and sit in the driveway. Yeah.
Kind of like my boat.
On that, I would second.
Oh, I have a question, actually. With the other towns that allow them, what is their time? What are their times?
They're all over the board. I'd have to check out Run, that'd be the
Yeah.
closest one that would affect us. But I know, like you go up into Lansing, you get up along the, I'm sorry, not Lansing, good grief, I'm missing, it's the river, Gulf River.
McGregor and
Yep, in Mississippi, so yeah, kind of up in that area.
Great issue.
There's more golf carts and things that roll around those towns at all hours of the day and night. That is their primary mode of transportation, so I'm sure they're probably allowed all the time up there.
Do you have anything?
I don't. I was just
So this would allow golf carts, ones I see pedal pushing around, they could do this till midnight as long as they got all the proper lighting and turn signals.
It's the, if they have an Evansdale sticker, they have to have all that stuff before they can get a sticker.
Yeah.
And a flag.
I've seen a couple around that don't have that.
They're not stickered.
And they're not compliant.
I have to watch that a little closer when I see them.
Oh, I see four-wheelers going down my road all the time, no flags. They're not abiding by the speed limit.
I just want a consensus of everybody about midnight, we need midnight, or could we just try and go 11 or leave it alone, I don't know.
Well, I guess we could say, I'm sorry, Christine, I guess we could sit with a trial at least. And if we find that violators come through, a recommendation to the chief, definitely revisit this.
I have side-by-side requirements, but it doesn't mean you go 25 miles an hour. So, you know, I'm not one of those that are gonna be speeding by anybody's house, but I know that mine's quiet and I don't care about midnight because, well, quite honestly, I'm old and I'll be sleeping by 10 anyway, so.
That's true.
Just
Some
saying.
people 8 o'clock and have them the same names, but.
I know around my house,
You have to say, I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning to be here at 5:30.
Yeah, that would be me.
around my house, we eat late a lot of times, and I might run to Casey's, 10 o'clock at night to get a pizza, so.
We can try to midnight.
Chief
Try to
wants
midnight.
12, or chief wants 12.
I don't see any problem with it.
Oh, I'd be willing to say if I haven't been cutting it close or got called out for something out station, all of a sudden I was down there on the UTV and then shuns are closing real quick and I'm like,
Yep.
okay, no one saw me, I gotta drive home right now.
I'm telling.
I think it was just before
Just
10.
called yourself out.
Yeah, I think it was just before 10, 9:58.
Busted. Did you hear that?
I did.
Okay. You got his license plate number right?
They would say they were pictures, right? Right, your watch.
Yeah, you
She'd
just
see
said
me.
it's your driveway.
Did you have my second? I had a second.
Yeah,
I had a second.
okay.
And yeah,
I'll take a roll call.
Siebel,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Bergman,
Yes.
Nichols.
Number 17, or actually I'm on 18, council to consider amendment of code of ordinance regarding billboard signs. Ron, after our last meeting, I took the consideration to the planning and zoning. And they were in full recommendation to, if you're a business, you can have business signs. However, we're gonna limit the billboard signs.
It's in the code now.
That's just addresses sign freestanding or post.
It says if it don't pertain, if the sign don't pertain to the business of the building there, it's illegal.
Okay.
Oh, good lord.
And the sign they've got out there now is illegal.
There's not much we're gonna do about that, cause it's got concrete down about 15 feet.
But you can't put a sign on it.
Huh?
You can't put a sign on it according to the ordinance.
Well,
How does he go, does he have to come down and get a permit for that?
we issued him a permit. So we approved it already, and it's been inspected. We issued the permit.
Then you gotta pay for it.
I didn't issue it. Yeah, I did.
Are they looking to put another one up here in town, I heard? Like
Well,
that?
you know, it's already been approved. I don't know if they're gonna move forward with it or not, but how can you just tell them that you can't? I can refund their money and say,
Because you can end up with a lawsuit against the city for this.
yeah, well,
If it's an ordinance, the state says that we shouldn't allow, we shouldn't do it. We're going
that's
above
why,
it.
That's why when I.
that's why I
last
should
time
be
thought-
issuing building permits, but I've issued a lot of them. We looked through the code. I even had the city attorney look through the code. I guess it's all in how
Last
you
time
read
I
it.
told you, I thought there was an ordinance against it because, that's why there's no billboard signs on any streets in Evansdale, except the one we're coming into. And, I didn't know what section of the ordinance, but I found it here, and there's actually another section that pertains more or less to it too, but
But it doesn't state that though, because that's the section I read.
what this says is you can have a sign in front of your building, but it must represent what's in the building, nothing else. So
Yeah, and that's a
sign-
definition.
Yeah, that's a definition, so that means that's all that sign can be used for. Well, there's some rental garages there, or spaces that you can put on the sign, but that's it.
Well, I'll contact the city attorney and ask him if that's enough to get this other one stopped.
It should be, I mean, unless it's gonna advertise the business in front of it.
Okay.
And then, you know.
I doubt they're gonna be advertising the storage unit.
That's why I'm looking at, there's another section of chapter 170, number 92, pertains to signs too, that you can have on, And it's back against buildings, it has to be set back to certain distance.
Yep.
And it must advertise the business that it's in front of, not a general, advertising sign for money.
Yeah,
And more or less pertains to that too, there's nothing in any ordinances you can have a billboard sign up that's, they can charge to have advertising, and it must represent the business that's in front of. That's the way I would, you can have the attorney look at it.
I'm going to.
I think that's
That's,
kind of helpful
that's what it
too for
says.
the Eagles Landing.
Um,
It's also.
no, we
helpful
have a completely
Completely?
different design standards for that.
for-
They can't have billboards at all there.
Yeah, well, signs is what I thought we were.
Yeah, because we did specifically put that in there, so.
Yeah, we didn't want to, yeah.
Have they taken out a second permit for another billboard?
We're not doing that. I just put it there just in case. What's that?
Have they come in and get a second permit for one of those signs?
It's already received. They've already gotten a permit.
Can you call them and tell them they should probably hold up?
I'm gonna call our city attorney tomorrow and ask him if we have grounds to do that after we approved it.
According to what's written up already in the codes, they can't do it.
I'll have him review those codes because,
They could, they just have to advertise the business that they're putting in front of,
Yeah.
correct?
Right.
So,
But that isn't what their intentions are.
correct.
Well, and
They're
yes,
seeking revenue from somebody else's billboard.
Mhm.
right,
This is for profit, and what they're setting up is for profit
Yes.
billboard, and that's what it's against, and that's what it's been against for the history of this town, is that's why there's no billboards on lot it.
That brings up a good question with P and Z people here. Is this something we need to like visit, like soon, and look this ordinance over and correct it once the attorney?
it just went to the last meeting.
Yeah,
It was just
we
at the
just-
last meeting, is
And
only
you just let it,
and
the way it was, you let it go.
I had Scott Strader go through it,
Yeah, we kinda
everybody.
went
I
through a
know that
little
stuff
bit.
is hard to find in the book of codes, I mean, it's hard to find, but I knew it was in there someplace, so I looked and I found it, so.
It'd be worth legal looking at.
Yeah.
I'd recommend legal look at it at this point. If we have to rescind what we've done, I mean, I'll have to see what legal says about that too.
Yeah, exactly. If you've already issued the permit, I don't know if you can take a take back, but we'll definitely check into it. Thank you for your feedback, I appreciate that, Ron. Number 19 is public discussion.
I got a deal on this junk property on rent.
Ron, your counsel not public. You're next.
Or hold up, prevents
Your
tire.
public discussion is for the public.
Public comment.
I'm not public.
Your council, you're next.
1023 Central Avenue, y'all know. There's a lower tree down there at the mouth of the creek. Chris put in a bunch of big rock, thank you. I am going to take that tree down within the next couple of weeks and just knob it off level with the ground so we can add more rock down there and fill up where people are doing stupid stuff again, or still. I just wanted to let you know what's going on, so I'll get it taken care of.
Are you okay with that, Chris?
Absolutely.
Okay,
We'll help him out in whatever he needs.
okay.
Yeah, I can get the tree all cut up, I'll take the brush down, I'll take the trunk for firewood, and, yeah, I ain't gonna take the roots out or nothing, because we need that there to hold the bank, so.
Okay,
But it'll just make it easier for people pull the brush around when the river's low.
okay.
So in case Mike Dean needs me to go down there and save somebody, I can do it.
Anyone else? Number 20 is mayor and council reports. Go ahead, Ron.
I was concerned about the junk property on Randall and Fran.
We've already addressed it.
When,
We had to wait for 14 days. So he was supposed to go by there tonight.
Also, there's one that's right on.
214
Randall. You know, that's been going on for,
Yeah, I know.
first the guy
We-
said he owned the property and I said.
We just have a part-time.
I know, and well, when we had
Yeah.
a full-time, he was sold too. But me and him don't get along. Or didn't get along,
Well,
nothing to do with anything else.
yeah, so we are addressing that. Just this afternoon, he drove by there, so no report tomorrow. So the
Yeah, 'cause
next phase is the ticket.
I feel sorry for the people on Francis, that some of the people have jumped me that says dropping the value of their property, which.
I know that's a hot mess
something
too.
else.
Look
You know,
across the street from my house.
I'm gonna reiterate. I know that you guys think that part-time building inspector code enforcement was the way to go. I wrote over $277,000 worth, that's the value of permits last month.
It's good.
I can't do code enforcement, I can't do all these permits. You know, we're gonna get help in here soon, but I don't know how it's gonna work, but I'm one day at a time. But we have a lot of these properties that need to be addressed.
They weren't being addressed before when you had a full-time.
Well, that's the past,
Yeah,
that's in the
we're gonna
past.
hope to get better now is our intention.
We are, I feel that Steve's gonna do a great job for us. He's not scared to do a citation. We won the Ayton case, by the way, last Friday. It did go to court. We issued her a citation. And she had to pay for the citation and court costs. And then we're gonna wait a couple more weeks, and if she hasn't started to address this, then we're gonna issue another citation, and we're gonna move forward. We're gonna do this now.
Does that mean we go to court again for a second citation, or we
But
win and take?
this one didn't have an attorney present. None of us had to go for this one,
Okay.
and she pled guilty. So if she wouldn't have pled guilty, then we would have had to go and have our attorney represent us.
At least she lined them up.
Clever.
I've got a number of the.
Maybe she's taking pictures, or she has someone interested on Facebook. Facebook Marketplace.
Are you done, Ron?
Yeah,
I had a couple things I just wanted to ask Mayor, what I've heard, and strictly going off what I've heard. I've heard we have shortage on mowing, employees this summer. Is that true, Chris?
Well, generally I have 12 employees and I only have 6 right now, so.
Okay, well, my question, I was doing some brainstorm thinking, would Craig entertain coming back? And I'm trying to look at to give you to where you can get some other things done instead of everybody on mowers. Could Craig come in and?
He can only make so much money being retired,
Right, but I
so
mean, is he at that limit where he can't?
I'm holding out on him for sweeping and a little bit of snow removal.
Okay, so you're not just gonna.
And Krista's got another guy that started on Monday, so.
Yeah, so that's gonna help out tremendously.
What does it pay?
I was thinking about applying for
1672.
the job, yeah. I can ride a mower all day.
and somebody that's retired can make as much as they want unless it's from their As far as social security.
IFRS, it's IFRS,
It's IFRS, is IFRS different than social security?
yeah.
Yeah, I can make whatever I want.
I do too.
And then, we
You'd have to pass a physical.
that's discrimination.
You ain't gotta run.
Yeah. A couple of, did we approve
I'm just
something for
teasing you.
Blackhawk Electric working up and down mountain? What is going on there? Is that,
It's taking what, how long, Chris, a year and a half to get it done?
It's done now.
It's done now.
is that?
Everything, all the wires for all those poles were direct bury,
Right,
and now we put everything in conduit. And now my next step is I wanna replace all the poles, because with the poles, we get new wires. And all the wires in the poles that are existing they got like that paper insulation on it. They put full suits on it just to mess with our poles. They got the screw-in fuses, pennies behind them. I mean, it's so out to date that it's not even safe. But when I just got kicked around, got a quote, so we can kind of budget this, and it was outrageous. So we're gonna reach out further south
185,000.
and try to get that addressed, but
and then a couple other things I asked one day, I couldn't come in, I guess, but I'd like to have us sit down as a council and discuss goals, projects, what our expectations are, what's going on, what can we do to assist, what do we need differently than what we have. My intentions on the whole thing is to hopefully try to save a little money. But I'd like to have us set up something where we would, as a council, sit down and discuss all these things, bring your ideas to the table when we set it up. And then we can come up with a plan. We need to be thinking now about next year's budget. There's a lot of things that are going on the plate now in this fall and in the spring that I don't know if our levy rate's gonna be able to be held, if I'm speaking out of turn, Mayor, tell me. And I think it's something we need to sit down now and discuss instead of waiting till then going, oh my God, I didn't know that was gonna happen next year. So keep in mind, I'll visit with Dan, we can get a meeting together where we all sit down, kind of brainstorm what we can do better or good or different or something.
You mean like a working strategy session, Steve?
Yes.
I'm 100% behind you.
Okay, then we're gonna do it. So as soon as we get the time works for everybody.
What does work for everybody? Let's be proactive.
Well, I don't think we should do it after a council meeting. I think we should have a separate meeting to come in, just us, and just talk about this
I mean, we
strategy.
can do that. I mean, is this night work for everybody?
Yeah, I don't-
Generally does.
Yep.
yeah.
Which night?
Tuesday night.
Tuesdays, so it'd be on and off Tuesday.
Tonight.
Right now,
I know.
you ain't good till 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I'm good, as long as you
You ride your UTV,
bring
you're
some food
good.
in.
How soon do you want to do it? Next Tuesday?
Well, maybe you think, we can think, I want everybody to think on it a little bit, and then when we're ready, we'll set a time. We'll
I think
come in,
that's a
sit-
good idea.
And we'll talk about everything under the sun and see good ideas, bad ideas, equal ideas. I think we need that. And then with the mayor's direction of next year, what we're looking at on budgets and things, because we're gonna have a lot facing us in the next year or two. And we need to proact rather than reacting next year.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
That was my last thing.
Council and, department heads or just council or?
We can have it be council and department head, just maybe that should probably be the right thing to do.
I don't know, I mean, just maybe it would be good to like.
Yeah, 'cause Right, because they see things that are gonna need to happen in the future too.
Yeah.
You know,
Were you gonna say something, Mike?
Does something like that have to be open to the public or not, or?
We can have a closed
It
session.
has to be open to the public.
it has to be open to the public, but it's gonna be more of,
Informal?
public's more than welcome to come, but it's gonna be more set up as a work session style.
So it is a listen only, and there is no public comment.
Right,
There's
no
none,
public
so-
comment.
But it's open because of the quorum, right?
Yeah.
So they're more than welcome to attend, but there's no public comment, there's no public input, it is purely for the council.
Yeah.
So,
It would be stated as so.
That sound good to you, Mike?
Oh, sure.
That's all I had tonight.
I just had one item just to update, Kristen and I, of course, from last night, but just to update the council, and then of course the public of where we're at with especially the city clerk. Just some rough numbers, and I don't have the exacts, but we did publish on Indeed, we got about a dozen candidates back, we were able to eliminate a good handful, I think more than half. just off of the initial review and kind of what they put in. We've interviewed at least 5 more, including one that was not on Indeed. Had some great candidates that we basically would move to a second interview. And including the one that was the most recent, potentially is one that we may try to see if we can make work. To make everything, because the experience and where they wanna be, pending just down to the salary, and it's not one that was hitting $70. So, promising, but, not dozens upon dozens of candidates, but we're making progress.
Is that something we're gonna bring her in as a council and discuss pay and everything? I'd rather be involved in something, I'd rather just get a resolution in front of me for X amount of dollars for X.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it come to the council for resolution.
I'd rather hear some
Yeah,
dialogue beforehand.
Be, you can call Justin, you can call Christie if you want to discuss that information, or you can call me.
Yep, it would be at basically how it should work through it, Steve, if I remember correctly, is it's at the recommendation of the personnel committee to kind of weed it down and say, this is what we think, just kind of like P and Z and the other boards and stuff. But yeah, it's ultimately down to the council. Without the council's approval or buy-in of the recommendation, it doesn't go anywhere.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second. Aye.
Those opposed,